Heading to Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium? Skip the traffic and the sky-high room rates of the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement.
South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza. If you're celebrating a special occasion or just love fine dining, you're in the right place. Come experience the crown jewel of South Point restaurants, Michael's Gourmet Room.
Welcome.
With over 600 different types of wines and magnificent dishes prepared tableside, you'll revel in the rich classic Vegas decor and the best black tie service in the world. This intimate gourmet room has earned accolades galore. Come to Michael's Gourmet Room for an unforgettable dining experience. Another famous restaurant is the Silverado Steakhouse, where you'll find the charm and service that discerning patrons require. From top quality steaks and chops to fresh seafood and desserts, you'll love the award-winning wine list and menu at Silverado Steakhouse. Steak lovers have even more options with primarily prime rib. Catering to hearty appetites, the menu features a variety of flavorful prime rib cuts, dry-aged to ensure tenderness, and then seasoned and slowly roasted. Although prime rib is our specialty, it's not the only thing on the menu. There's something for everyone.
Ready to ramp up your excitement for playoff football? Join our hosts as they break down the matchups, key angles, and futures markets in the final episodes of Football Frenzy.
Seattle Seahawks get it done.
You look at these two teams and you say, wow, they did really well against quality opponents.
Brock Purdy to throw an interception, tied up with the Seahawks in this game. I think that's a little bit of a correlation.
I would have given a huge ups to the Rams defensively. Not anymore.
Don't miss your chance to cash tickets and root for your favorite team. Stream Football Frenzy every Friday at noon Pacific.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. It's going to be a fun one. You are watching Sports by the Book. We are live from the South Point Hotel and Casino, live from the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas. Alex White, Ryan McCormick, you get us 5 days a week. Remember, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m., Friday, 12 p.m. Pacific time. It's Tuesday, though, and back to our regular programming. That means we get Matt Neverett on the desk. Guys, welcome in. I'm excited. We're going to do a little Super Bowl preview. We're going to talk college basketball, and we're going to talk hockey, as we always do. How you doing, Matt?
I'm great. I'm physically in town on a Tuesday.
And you came with ready to brag.
I'm ready to go, yeah. I've been good so far. Was telling you about how I watched the game, the AFC Championship game this past weekend. I haven't completely come out of my shell as far as bragging rights and as far as the Bears and whatever team you like not playing in this game. There's only one fan base that I don't have bragging rights over right now, and that's the Seahawks, and that's a scary proposition in this upcoming big game. So I'm excited to see this matchup, and I'm excited to have bragging rights for at least the next week and a half, and then maybe the whole offseason. We'll see.
Well, it is good to bring you in here because it feels like it's going to be pretty lopsided. Looking forward, we still have 12 days until this game, but it's going to be heavy Seahawks, right? I know the public is going to love this team and what they have seen last, and the kind of struggles, the tough road that it's been for the Patriots with the 3 good defenses. So it's good that we have you to keep us even.
That's what I'm here for, right?
We got to talk about both sides, and you got to try and make a case for the dog, as always. But so we'll get to that.
I'm ready.
Let's check in with Ryan. Ryan, what's our trends and our recap from Monday night in the sports world?
Yeah, so a good amount of games were postponed, whether it be in the NHL or men's college basketball yesterday. But we'll start with NBA favorites yesterday. 7-0 straight up, 5-2 against the spread, but totals were just 2-5, 2 overs, 5 unders there in the NBA. Men's college basketball favorites of the 10 games that were actually played yesterday, 5-5 straight up, just 3-7 against the spread, and totals were also 5-5. Going to the NHL, where I picked the wrong sides in both of my whiteboard plays. Favorites, 2-2 straight up. 3 puck lines were covered, including 1 reverse. So if you listen to Alex and I both liking the Islanders, they were the reverse puck line yesterday. Could have got back those 2 units, but anyway, I give those back from Sunday's winnings. And totals, 2-2 yesterday. The Oilers score 7 for their total by themselves, and the Ducks contribute 4 of their own to get that one to 11. And again, that total was at 7, which we were astonished by yesterday.
I mean, it turns out to be the right side. And that was an interesting game. So I was keeping tabs on that one. My dad's been doing the radio for the Ducks for the last little bit, especially on this Canada swing here for Anaheim. And I just was keeping tabs on that game while I was doing some stuff last night. And it was 1-1 after the first, I believe. And then I remember kind of looking away and then checking the score again. And there was about 13 minutes left in the second period. So 7 minutes had passed. And it was 3-2. And I'm like, oh boy, that's not the end of the goals in this game.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, 5-3 after the second period gave me a little bit of hope there that we might have a shot. But defenseman had a hat trick, 2 consecutive games for the Oilers. So, I mean, they've been struggling. They're trying to find ways to generate goals and keep their playoff hopes alive. Well, they're in it right now, but be able to make a run here. But they found a way, and it was an exciting one. Hopefully people did take that over and weren't afraid of that 7. But, Ryan, you were betting overtime a lot, and you tried to steer away from it yesterday. And Boston and the Rangers were a perfect one that you could have got a good overtime price.
Yeah. And the Bruins did have a 3-2 lead going into the third period. Ultimately give up a tying goal with, I believe, 7 minutes left in that one, and then lose in overtime. So Bruins don't cover the puck line there in that one. There's a good chance I'll be playing them today on the second of a back-to-back, though.
I may be with you, and that is a tease for later when we get to our hockey picks. College basketball has been crazy. Matt's got a game tonight for the Rebels. We'll be calling that one against New Mexico. Should be a good one.
The only matchup of the year between these two. It's the only trip that the Rebels don't make on the road in conference play is to the Pit, and that's unfortunate because that's one of the best atmospheres in college basketball and one of my favorite places to go call a game.
Are they one of the disloyal, or are they staying?
They're staying, right?
Good.
I mean, as it stands right now, UNLV and New Mexico are kind of going to be 2 of the flagship programs in the Mountain West moving forward. So that is one that I'm glad. Albuquerque as a town I could take or leave, but I love doing basketball games at New Mexico, and they are putting a bunch of money into their football stadium. It's kind of a bottom-tier football stadium in Albuquerque in the Mountain West Conference, but they're putting, I think I saw like $160 million into it. So in a couple of years, they'll be able to enjoy the fruits of that labor. But yeah, the Lobos coming tonight. 8 o'clock tip-off. Should be a fun one. 2 fast-paced teams, 2 teams that like to get up and down the floor, and both scoring about 80 points a game.
Okay, very good. Keep an eye out for that. We'll have to check in on the total and where it sits if we would be leaning to the over there. Yesterday, did not get there with Louisville. I did take the right angle trying to go first half, but that second half was pretty brutal. Duke 83-52. How are they as good as they were last year?
Coaching.
Yeah.
It matters. Believe it or not, coaching still matters, and having Cam Boozer also helps. Having the one stud and a phenomenal coach to kind of fill in the rest of the pieces makes a difference in college basketball, turns out.
How about Arizona? Keep their win streak going, win at BYU.
That's
got
a legit win.
Yeah, it is. It got a little scary there at the end, but found a way, 186-83. So I'm curious, and we'll kind of wait. We'll talk Super Bowl first, but I am curious where you're at with who you think is the best in the country.
Yeah.
I think I know because you saw one team in person here in Las Vegas, but
tough to go against, in person. But that matchup between BYU and Arizona was one that I was really excited for. 2 of the most dominant freshmen in the country in AJ DeBonsta and Koa Pete, 2 guys who will probably be going against each other in the association next year.
Scott Van Pelt had a whole segment on how good this freshman class is and have been in for a lot of these teams.
This year's draft is going to be awesome.
Wow. Looking forward to that, definitely.
Lottery might all be one and done college guys.
I know.
No, there's a couple of foreign guys that are going to go as well, but it might be a lot of one and done college guys and a couple of seniors because this year's freshman class is outstanding.
Well, they could come back and play.
Yeah, in like 5 years. Yeah. It does appear, though, on a side note, that the NCAA is trying to close up some of those loopholes. They've tightened up some of the windows. They've made it so that there's no more midseason transfers. So, like I said on this show, however many weeks ago, I said these guys that are coming back, enjoy it. Get your money and get your NIL now because it's not going to be there for long. And it looks like the NCAA is trying to close up a lot of those loopholes. There is an effort. I'm generally NCAA. I'm generally against authority figures anyway, but I just think that they're starting to kind of close these loopholes. Eventually, college football is going to be its own thing outside of the NCAA parameters, but that's a whole different thing. I could go on and on about that. It's
funny to me though that now they care about trying to close up these loopholes.
Yeah,
but they didn't really care with the Baylor guy because he wasn't really producing. But now Alabama's done it and played 25 minutes in his first game. I can't remember his name, but so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But that was a big pickup for Alabama, who needs it in a very competitive SEC with nobody really stepping up and being the number one in that conference. Florida's starting to catch fire again, of course, the defending champion, but we'll see. All right, let's get your thoughts. We kind of did a recap yesterday, and Ryan, if you left anything out and you want to jump in too, but let's talk conference championship Sunday here, starting with the AFC. Patriots get it done. Of course, backup quarterback for the Broncos, and a crazy snowstorm in the second half. What were your overall thoughts with that championship game and the Patriots getting the win?
I mean, overall thoughts were pretty positive. It was the second straight weather game, and especially in the second half, and it was funny watching that game in the first half, and you go to halftime, you go out and you do something. I was shooting hoops in the backyard, actually. Staying, ready to go just in case any of these college teams need another, 3-and-D outside shooter. But and then the second half they come back, and I'm like, is this the same city? Because it looked kind of gray and dreary in Denver in the first half, and then all of a sudden they're inside the mist, and it's coming down, and it was similar to the game in Foxborough the week before. New England's ready to go in these games. I talked about it coming into the show. No team in the NFL history has won 9 road games until this year. Granted, you get the one extra game nowadays, but the Patriots, the best road team by amount of wins in the history of the NFL. They won more road games this season than they did overall games the last 2 years combined, 9-8. So obviously we're seeing a swell. And it wasn't a sexy game. 10-7 is not going to be one that gets you excited and get you ramped up about this offense, which has been the best offense for the Patriots since they led the NFL in points about 10 years ago. But it shows that they can win in different types of games. And like I said on this show last week, I said you want a team that's able to win in baseball, the 1-0 pitcher's duel. You also want a team that's able to win the 14-12, slugfest. So in a game like this, it shows against one of the best defenses in the league and probably the second best defense that they faced all year, aside the one they faced the week prior in the Texans, that they can get it done in a lot of different ways. And their defense, backup quarterback for the Broncos aside, show that they can do what it takes to not just win a game, but shut an opposing offense down. And I think that bodes well going into another road atmosphere in this matchup against the Seahawks. The Patriots obviously are going to have a lot of work to do. Josh McDaniels with the Super Bowl experience as a coach, I think is going to make a big difference. He's got the most experience in the Super Bowl of any coach or coordinator on either of these rosters.
That's right.
I think that makes a difference. We'll talk about that more when we preview the game, but I was excited to see a 10-7 win. I know that's not what you would expect to hear me say, but I was hoping that it'd be a bigger score and a bigger win. It was the only non-winner that I gave out on this show on Thursday as far as the full game spread. I had 3 college basketball winners, and then the Patriots didn't cover the 4.5 by 1.5. So that was my only loser. Sorry, but I'll take it. A 10-7 win is a win. And hey, Patriots in the Super Bowl for the 10th time in my lifetime. Can't wait.
Just to piggyback on that, Josh McDaniels, of course, part of 6 Super Bowl championships with New England, 3 as the team's offensive coordinator. So that moment will not be too big for him either. No. How do you feel about Sean Payton's decision to go for it on 4th and 1 instead of trying to go for a field goal there to go up 10-0?
Because, I mean, that was early in the game, right? That was like second quarter. At the time, I didn't think it was a bad decision. I think out loud, I said go for it. And obviously, hindsight's 20/20. Turns out they should have taken the points. I don't think because that also came on the heels of their only successful offensive drive of the game, that long pass by Stidham where the safety and Christian Gonzalez both got burned, and then on the touchdown pass, same deal. It was coming right on the heels of that. So I think that they had a little bit of confidence. And Sean Payton, as we've seen over the years, is a guy who, when the iron is hot, he strikes. We saw the onside kick in the second half to open the Super Bowl. That's all the evidence you need. Like, he is a guy that when his team is really getting on a roll, he puts the pedal to the floor, steps on the opponent's throat, whatever metaphor you want to use. I don't think it was the wrong decision in the moment. And was it Romo who was on the call for that one?
It was Romo.
It was Romo. He was like, the analytics say to go for it on 4th and 20 or whatever. I'm like, I think they should have gone for it in that situation. Now, hindsight being 2020, should have taken the points, but I don't blame them because of the offensive momentum they had garnered up to that point in the previous drive or two.
Denver sports media really going for Sean Payton's head here. Not very happy about that choice. And now everybody is turning on Stidham because the week prior you heard so much, right, about how he could step in and he could be the guy. But I think a big thing for them is they all knew that storm was coming. Yeah. Which kind of changes your opinion on that, right? We really didn't. And Ryan previewed on Football Frenzy. He's like, there will be a little snow in the second half, but it shouldn't stick, right, Ryan? That is what we thought here in Vegas.
Having lived in Denver, the weather there is so unpredictable and it changes so fast. So that's not a surprise that it was a little bit different than the forecast.
I agree, but then I guess they were anticipating that a little bit.
You have to.
Yeah.
Especially in Denver this time. If you're anywhere you're like outside of a handful of places or a dome, you got to anticipate a little weather this time of year.
Yeah, and with that, probably want to take all the points you can get with the backup quarterback. So,
I guess so.
I can see both sides, definitely. But like you said, I mean, strike while the iron's hot, and it was their second drive that they were moving the ball very efficiently.
It'd be different if it were kind of against Sean Payton's style. But again, that's what we've seen from him. And that's all you can ask is consistency, especially in coaching. You see Dan Campbell, he'll go for it all the time, but he gets a lot of slack because he always does that. And when it pays off, it's great. And in that game, the other thing, too, is if they convert there and they score and they go up 14-0, that game completely changes. So, again, I'm with you. I do see both sides. In the moment, I think I even said it out loud. I thought they should have gone for it.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the NFC and get your thoughts here because I said yesterday, I don't know if you realized, 5-0 for Sports by the Book, including us three, Dwayne Colucci and Chris Andrews. So people say they don't trust bookmakers giving out picks. All of us did like the Seahawks minus 2.5. Kind of just give us props, do a lot of research. We're not just going to say best quarterback and best coach take that side. It was a close one. I was sweating it out a little bit. How'd you feel? Were you watching this one, and were you confident with your Seattle pick, or did you think Matthew Stafford was going to go down and Rams were going to find a way?
I was confident until then, because Stafford has done it so many times in his career, and I think he is the single toughest quarterback in the modern era. In the NFL, he is as tough as it gets. So he's earned a little bit of leeway. He's going to be the league's MVP, which is saying something coming from me. I would love for it to be Drake May, but the NFL is going to give it to Matt Stafford, and you're not going to get too much flack from me. That being said, that's huge for the Seattle defense. Maybe not quite the Legion of Boom. What are they going as? The dark side this year? Is that what they're calling it? Yep. I think that you, as a team like that, I think that that's huge to have kind of an identity like that. And so for the Seahawks to win this kind of a game is huge. As soon as they started scoring, what was it, 28 combined points in the fourth quarter? They were just going back and forth, touchdown. And, you're like, well, how is this going to end? You just assume that the Rams are going to go down there and find a way to win. But how about the redemption arc for Sam Darnold? Former number 3 pick, cast aside by the Jets, seeing ghosts in New Jersey. Excuse me, I almost said New York. It is the Meadowlands in New Jersey, the New Jersey Jets. But I saw a number yesterday. I don't know if you guys mentioned this on the show or not yesterday. He's the first USC quarterback to start a Super Bowl.
I did see that.
And they've had the most quarterbacks drafted. They've had 26 quarterbacks drafted, and none of them have ever started a Super Bowl. Sam Darnold, take a shot if you would have thought he would have been the first one to be there out of all the USC quarterbacks over the years. So it's a great redemption arc for him. For Cooper Kupp as well. How about that story that came out? That is very unexpected. I think that's actually going to be a bigger deal than people think it is in free agency. Agents are going to pick up on that, and that's going to be something that kind of sticks to the Rams' legacy one way or another here for the next couple of years. And eighth-year veteran playing for his fifth team. I'm proud of Sam Darnold. I don't find myself feeling like proud of athletes a lot, but I as an American, love an underdog, love a comeback story. So for Sam Darnold to get to where he is in this situation, it's a really good redemption arc, basically. And I think that he's done so with a lot of different types of wins. That's the other big thing too. Like I said with the Patriots, Darnold's had the games where he's thrown 4 or 5 interceptions and they've won. He's had the games where he's been the MVP and they've won. So I think for him, it's kind of a culmination of a long time coming.
Well, that definitely goes with the whole team there. I think they are prepared. And Brian went over the numbers last week of, the Seahawks losing a turnover battle in a game, but still finding ways to win those games. And that has kind of been the big story for them. You could pick, though, because you brought up USC. How about that draft class with Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, who am I forgetting? Josh Rosen, but
yeah, baby.
And Baker Mayfield, and he is the first to make it to a Super Bowl. So
again, not what anybody would have thought.
Nope.
Even though he was drafted 3rd, it was kind of like you have to pick him at that point if you're the Jets. Almost the situation the Raiders find themselves in this year. I was trying to find a nice way to say it.
We'll just save it. We'll bring it to Vinny's attention on Friday. We'll make sure and bring up the Jets hat, Sam Darnold, because he loves when we talk about that. Also, I'm going through the coaching staffs of both of these teams and really to try and see if anybody has any experience, kind of like Josh McDaniels, to help this Seattle team and prepare for this. A ton of these guys came from the Jets coaching staff. So there's a lot of probably Robert Saleh, San Francisco, then them going to the Patriots or the Seahawks. But it's very interesting.
I'd imagine in a matchup like this, there's a lot of debutantes as far as the coachings go, right? Is there a lot of guys who haven't been in the Super Bowl yet?
Not on the Patriots. I feel like the Patriots have a pretty
interesting.
Yeah, I've got some notes here. We can go through them after, but no, they've got a lot of experience.
Interesting. I mean, can I also make mention that these are the 2 hottest teams in the NFL? I think the Texans would have been the only other team towards the back end of the regular season to be able to make that claim. Hey, how about this? Both of these teams lost week 1. And that's the only reason that the AFC didn't run through Foxborough was because the Patriots lost to the damn Raiders in week 1. Still can't believe that. But the Patriots, after 3 weeks, were 1-2. The Seahawks, after 5 weeks, were 3-2. After these teams both suffered their second losses since week 5, combined 29-2 record. Unbelievable, and that's what you find more often than not is the teams that get hot at the right time find a way to make the run through the Super Bowl, regardless of seed. Just so happens that these two are both division winners and top 2 seeds.
All right, well, let's really kick it off here. Super Bowl 60 coming up. We have our matchup: Seattle Seahawks, New England Patriots. I love that we have this graphic right here because Ryan, that is where I wanted to start, and I wanted to double check South Point's numbers too. But I'm seeing it here: Seattle 50-1 to win the Super Bowl preseason, and the New England Patriots 80-1. I believe some shops did have 60-1 for Seattle, but are those numbers right, Ryan, for South Point's opening numbers?
Yeah, those are South Point's opening numbers. We also have their opening numbers to win the conference and to win their division, both of which have already cashed for both the Patriots and the Seahawks. But yeah, those are the opening numbers via South Point. We also have on your right side of your screen showing you guys whether they covered the closing number of each game based on South Point's odds here at the Hotel and Casino.
I mean, you see a lot of yeses as of late for the Seahawks winning and covering. And finding ways. I had to put the glasses on. There's a lot of numbers here, but it's all necessary stuff. Did I see correctly? I believe I saw it yesterday that the Patriots and the Seahawks combined odds was as high as any Super Bowl since I think 2000, since that Rams and Titans Super Bowl. Was I seeing that right?
Yeah. It differs based on the number here and in different books. But yeah, depending on or regardless of who wins this Super Bowl will be the second longest shot to win the Super Bowl based on opening odds in the market, second to that 2001 Rams team.
Yeah, that was it was an interesting beginning of the year. And I remember I think one of the 3 futures that I did place at the beginning of the season was the Patriots to make the playoffs. So got that one, but I did not have the expectation that they would win as many games as they win 9 games on the road and make it all the way to the Super Bowl. And I'm as optimistic as the Patriots about anybody. I think I said preseason like 12, 13 wins would be awesome. Lo and behold, they come around and win more games than just about any team in the NFL and get to this point. So it's surprising to see them win this many games. I think for the Seahawks, like we've talked about, Ryan, especially on this show, it's kind of the culmination of a couple of year effort, and you give a lot of credit to a front office when they're able to pull something off like that. being able to build, and then I think they've gotten lucky on the Sam Darnold situation. How bad does this make the Minnesota Vikings look too? Picking J.J. McCarthy over Super Bowl bound Sam Darnold.
Well, and of course the Raiders too, who picked up Geno Smith, and the Seahawks knew that they wanted to move on from him and take a shot with Sam Darnold. But 4.5 is the number right now, plus 190 if you like the Patriots to win outright as the underdog, minus 220 for Seattle on the money line. Right now, Matt, how would you feel? Would you take that 4.5 as kind of a cushion? Or we have seen when dogs cover, they do typically win outright. Not typically, but they do often win outright. We saw with the Rams and the Bengals. Rams, of course, won. They were the favorite, but the Bengals covered as the dog. I think that is the most recent that has happened.
Yeah.
What are you thinking right now? We've got 12 days, almost 2 weeks
Plenty
to
of
really
time.
think about it.
And this line's going to toggle. I think this line is going to move slightly here and there. I don't think it gets to 6. I think we've seen it, cap out at 5 so far. Open at 3.5 at a lot of places. Got up to 5. Hasn't cleared that number of 5 yet. Like I said, I don't think it gets to 6. If it gets to 6, I'm going to be all over the Patriots. I'm going to tease this one anyway. I'll give you my play at the end. But I got a couple of numbers on Super Bowl dogs that do bode well for the Patriots. I would say this outside of my fandom with the Patriots. So since 2004, so the last 22 Super Bowls, or 21 or 2, it is 22. The dogs are 15-7 ATS. So that right there is a good number. 15 of the last 22 Super Bowls have featured a dog covering. And the dog has covered 5 straight, which matches the longest streak of underdogs covering of all time. When the spread is 3 or more as well in the last 22 years, which has happened 17 times, the dog is 13-4 ATS. That's actually since 2001. So in the last 25 years, Super Bowl dogs of 3 or more are 13-4 ATS. That alone tells you that the Patriots should have a good chance to cover. I think that this is a perfect tease spot as it stands right now, especially if you can get it back to 5 points, get it to an even 11. Again, if it gets to 6, I'm going to take the Patriots as a 6-point dog anyway, and I'll probably tease it again up to 12.
I do love the same game teaser, always. Yeah. Ryan?
No, as long as we're talking lines here, I did want to mention that we do want the viewers' thoughts. We do want either your guys' score prediction in the comments, or we do have polls active on our YouTube channel. So in the description of our video, we've got it linked for today's or Tuesday, 2 weeks prior, looking at the total. So if you want to guess the total and comment on that post, or looking at Monday, January 26th post, it was which spread are you taking? Remember, you guys only have to lay a -105 taking the spread here in Super Bowl 60. So Seahawks -4.5 or Patriots plus the 4.5. And currently 82% of the vote is with the Seahawks laying the number there. So keep flooding those with votes, keep flooding those with comments. And yeah, again, give us your score prediction in the live chat.
Do we know also too? We have Robert in the chat asking, and I'm curious as well. When do we expect props to be posted? Next week, right?
Well, so we have 7 up at the moment. That is
a couple.
Coin toss, 2-point conversion, overtime, safety, those kind of basic ones. And then we will get more up tomorrow, starting tomorrow.
Awesome.
Featuring like actual player props and things to happen in the game. Those will be going up here at the South Point tomorrow.
And that's early, I feel like. I think a lot of books do it like the Monday or the Tuesday of the week of the game. So that's actually one of the earliest to market at South Point. I know Westgate's another one that's pretty early, but a lot of books will wait till the week of. It takes a while, having known a lot of people, and you do as well, Alex, that have to tabulate these. And you've helped, right, with some Super Bowl props before, right?
I have not.
March Madness is where you've assisted behind the book. I would be interested to see what kind of props stand out to you. I've got a couple, regardless of line. Like I've seen some numbers that look interesting as far as like reception props. Some of the offshore books already have them out, but they've got computers doing all those. So I'll be interested to see some of the player props here at South Point.
Well, let's dive into it a little bit. Let's talk about which position players we will be looking at and trying to find good numbers on. I will just start it off by saying I've already heard it a lot too with Drake May and rushing yards. That number is going up by the day. Last number I saw was 37.5. I believe it opened around 30.5. So we're already going up 7 yards there, but we've seen him do it. We saw it really. I mean, that was the difference maker in the game against the Broncos.
Yeah.
And then rushing attempts, 6.5 right now. I think that's a pretty decent number I would look towards as well.
I don't hate it. And it's interesting, too, with Seattle being ranked the number 1 defense. I don't think this is going to be a defensive-centric game. I think it's going to be the fastest track the Patriots have played on all playoffs long. I don't think that is that much of a stretch. And I think Seattle rolling offensively, they put up 41 against Seattle or 31 against the Rams, 41 against the 49ers. So they scored 72 points in their last 2 games. I think it's going to be a fast track, a high scoring game overall. So I think that the Drake May, I think it's going to be wide open is what I'm getting at. And I think Drake May is going to have the opportunities. He called his own number too at the end on that naked bootleg.
Yeah.
I saw an article about that, and he's like, I debated whether or not to tell my teammates. I'm like, you should probably tell one, right? Turns out he got all the blocks he needed, but like you should at least let your center know. Like I played quarterback through high school. Like even there's times where you get up to the line and for quarterback sneak, our call was Scooby-Doo. I'd get up there and say, Scooby-Doo Roxy, and that would just be like, hey, I'm going to sneak off your right hip. I would tell him and nobody else. So for Drake May, that takes some serious fortitude to not tell anybody. I think he runs the ball often. I think Patriots running back receiving props. Those are going to be the ones that I take a look at. I saw somewhere offshore had Travion Henderson, 1 reception. It was over under a half, minus 140. And I haven't laid it yet, but I think that's a good number. I think that he'll get a catch. I think that there's going to be a lot of check downs, a lot of the Patriots taking what they can get. The Seahawks bend but don't break. And the number one defense in the league, they say defense travels. I think in the sense of it gets you to the game, because a lot of times when we see the number one defense against a really proficient offense like the Patriots, it's a high-scoring game by default, especially if somebody scores right off the bat.
I am leaning more towards the over. Yeah. I do think we are going to see some points in this one. And I mean, we've got 2 really good offensive coordinators, and Kubiak has been awesome for the Seahawks. So to your point, if they score, I mean, the Patriots have really been living off of the explosives, right? And I do think that they could get a few. I like Ramondre Stevenson more than Henderson.
Yeah.
I don't personally. I think they should use Henderson more, but it seems like the coaching staff trusts Stevenson a little bit more. So he's one guy I would look for receiving yards. But on the same page as you, and I talked about it last week going into Championship Sunday, all 4 teams awesome at stopping the run, forcing teams to be more one-dimensional, but can definitely give up some yards from the backfield to the running back. So I think that's another angle to look at, definitely.
And one of the props that you and I talked about before we took the air, what's the ridiculous number? Maybe not ridiculous, but the very, very elevated number on Jackson Smith and Jigba receiving yards?
It is 93.5 I'm seeing right now.
Well, and the point that you brought up, too, was that in the game against the Rams, how many different defenders covered him at one point or another?
7 different guys covering JSN that game against the Rams. And he was 10 of 12, right? So
they didn't cover him very well, is what you're telling me.
153 total yards, 15.3 yards per reception, and 45 yards after catch.
Oh my God. And Ryan, you know this. 7 defenders covering a single receiver in a game is a ton.
Yeah. And
there's no way to have any defensive consistency if you're always passing off the single best receiving option on the other team. The Patriots aren't going to cover him like that. They're going to have Christian Gonzalez press man on him all game, maybe a little bit of safety help, but I think they double team him. I don't think we see it to the extreme that Belichick used to go when it came to taking out the opponent's best option one way or another. But I think we're going to see 2 to 3 max Patriots defenders guarding Jackson Smith and Jigba, and I think they're going to be all over him, extremely physical. I think under. And they're going to have to go down to some other options. You typically find that in the Super Bowl because you got the 2 weeks of preparation.
Yeah.
That's a big thing as well. I don't think Jackson Smith and Jigba gets 90-plus receiving yards in this game.
Ryan, what do you think?
No, I mean, just to kind of go to the point of 7 guys kind of being an abnormal number to cover a specific receiver in a game, that's the rotation guys coming in and have to cover the number 1 guy for the Seahawks that's going to be in on 95% of their offensive snaps.
The best receiver in the league at that point, in the playoffs that was left.
Exactly. So, I mean, very peculiar kind of coaching philosophy there for the Rams going against their division rival. But, yeah, I agree with Matt. We won't really see that in this game, especially with how the Patriots defense plays their kind of style of football. Both teams are top 5 in scoring offense and defense. So, I mean, Matt had mentioned that defense travels, but I do think with the potential and really what we've seen in Seahawks games, getting into the second half, getting into the fourth quarter, becoming a shootout. And we heard from Bookmaker here at the South Point that if it is a shootout, it more favors the Seahawks based on their schedule and what they've done this season and having those kinds of games where if it is a high-scoring game, they've ended up winning. And the Patriots haven't really been in that shootout type of game. Chris thinks it's more if it is a defensive battle, that favors the Patriots, but if it is a high-scoring battle, that favors the Seahawks. Both teams are top 10 in defensive yards per game, and both teams are top 10 in offensive yards per game. So it is going to be a phenomenal Super Bowl. But I would be looking at the Seahawks here.
I mean, and to Chris's point right there, just take a look at the championship games about how these teams got to this Super Bowl. I think that those were two of these teams probably at their absolute best, with the Patriots in the snow, Vrabel having that grit and energy and just the griminess that they've had all year. You know, they've won some blowout games. They've put up a lot of points against some inferior opponents, but to win a game like that tells you a lot about the Patriots. And for the Seahawks to continue doing what they've been doing offensively and defensively as well tells you a lot about that team. But you mentioned the second half. I found a great trend in the second half. I'm going to bring it up next week as well because it's worth betting. It's worth keeping in mind because you obviously can't bet the second half until the first half is over. So you got to keep this in mind. So this first part of the trend includes conference championship games, but I think it's worth including in here because it's pressure situations at the end of the year. So teams leading at halftime in the conference championship game and the Super Bowl in the last 20 years. Again, teams leading in the second half have gone 19, 43, and 3 ATS in the second half. So whoever is down at the half usually has won. They've won 34 of the however many that is second halves in the conference championship and Super Bowl. But in the Super Bowl specifically, here's the number that I like. Since the 07-08 season, teams that are leading at halftime are 5 and 11 ATS in the second half. So 11 out of 16 times the team losing the first half comes back and wins that second half. So that's going to be a number that I mention again next week because I think that that's a sample size that is worth betting.
Did not work for the Chiefs last year, but the year before, I remember Niners were up in that first half, right? Or it was very close, and Chiefs covered the second half. I do like that when I could see that playing out, and kind of a way I would like to play this, looking at Seattle first half, maybe laying a number there, then coming back, taking some points with the Patriots to at least cover there in the second half.
I like that.
Just one more note on Jackson Smith-Njigba before we move on. I would be careful and tread lightly betting his unders because his median number on the entire year is 100, and that is without the yards he just put up. I did not add in his last games, but it's somewhere around 100, and my whole concern with the Patriots is they have not really seen a true number one in quite some time. In the last game, they did. I do think Cortland Sutton is a number one, but they didn't have a number one quarterback. Yeah. In the game before, no Nico Collins. So you had a rookie, Jaden Higgins was their number one for the Houston Texans. And then the week before that, I mean.
It's the Chargers, yeah.
You did. You had Keenan Allen and some wide receivers, but really, Justin Herbert couldn't get anything done with that offensive line.
They've also been playing a ton of zone over the last 3 games just because of the styles of offense that they've been playing against. I think we see a lot more man, especially because Christian Gonzalez is a top 3, if not top 2, man-on-man press cover corner in football. So I think that with his length and athleticism and his physicality, I think it'll be a little different look. I mean, I'm not going to personally bet it. I would not fault anybody for, betting a guy whose median number is over what the line is. I think that's what we all kind of look for when we're looking through these props. I just know I'm going to stay off of it because of my faith in the Patriots defense.
And that's totally fine. I mean, we're trying to look for more
we can
unders,
still be friends.
Especially later on. I mean, in 2 weeks, that number might balloon up even more, and then we can go under it. I just wanted to say tread lightly there. But, all right, so there's some of the props that we are looking at moving forward. Anything else? Any of your favorite props that you go to every year for the Super Bowl, whether it's field goals?
Well, I'm going to be on field goal overs.
Okay, very good. I do like that a team to score 3
times in a row.
That one hits very often. You do have to lay a bigger number now on the yes.
I like first half unders. Typically, I play the Super Bowl like I play a lot of primetime games during the regular season. Field goal overs. Teams are going to be conservative more so. They don't want to have a big play or a big-time turnover in a game like this when it could be avoided. So you'll find that they take the points more often. First half unders, I like the field goal overs. Those are typically some that I'll go with. There's always some wide receiver that's second or third, if not further down on the depth chart, that has a big game. So I definitely take a look at receiving props on the overside. I'll be interested to see some numbers and comparing books. That's another big thing this time of year is compare your props. If you have multiple options like you do here in Vegas or some other states, definitely compare. Don't just see a number and fire. I would say at least 2 books. I usually compare at least one other number. Super Bowl is great because you can find like 4 or 5. I don't go that far. If it scares me off, I'll just go to a different one because there's so many options. But Unders in the first half, field goal overs, and down the depth chart receiving overs when it comes to yards.
I mean, I think it's a pretty easy route. If you're in Vegas, you go South Point, you can pick up the Westgate, Circa, and then you got to get the stations too.
Everyone's got the folder on their phone of betting apps as well. So I've got some.
That's very true.
I had to go back and through. I had to reactivate my William Hill account. I hadn't thrown some money in there in a while. So this time of year is the best because you make the money and then you spend it in February and then you got March Madness. So this is where you build that bankroll for your college basketball bets.
And that is a perfect tease because we have the best party here at the South Point for those first 4 days of March Madness.
Oh yeah.
But I like to have the physical books though here for the Super Bowl.
I've always gotten those emailed to me.
There you go.
Over the years, and I would
people that doesn't happen for everybody.
I would print them out though. Like I would go to definitely not everyone home. Never at home. I go to my work, go to my school, wherever I was at the time, and use their ink and toner and paper.
I did want to bring up one more thing, and Ryan, give me your thoughts as well. But how, as a Patriots fan, how do you think New England feels? Because we were all over Seattle, but then you got to imagine New England's happier to see Seattle in the Super Bowl rather than the Los Angeles Rams.
I think so. Even though they had the Super Bowl, probably the least exciting Super Bowl ever was the win against the Rams in that 2018-2019 season. But it's interesting. I mean, geographically, it's the easternmost team in the NFL and the westernmost team in the NFL. And for Patriots fans, man, that was a long 3 years. I'll tell you what, of not being in Super Bowl contention. So, I mean, somehow we all survived. For Boston fans, it's a nice reprieve because the Red Sox are terrible now, and the ownership group doesn't have any commitment to putting a winner on the field. I was almost going to say court. Celtics at least the number 2 seed right now in the East. Yeah, she's
Drew Dog, and you can cut his mic whenever you would like.
You knew what you're getting yourself into asking me that question.
Brian, what do you think? Other Patriot fans, do you think they're happy to see Seattle?
Yeah, no, I definitely think the Patriots are happy to see Seattle in this game.
I know.
Mainly because of the respect and the prestige that Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford have, having won a Super Bowl together. I know the Patriots did beat Sean McVay in a Super Bowl, but having like those two as a tandem, having won a Super Bowl,
scary.
The way that offense was playing this year, the MVP candidate should be the MVP award winner. And not having to go against that and having to go against Sam Darnold, somebody that really nobody fears. And people said saw ghosts when he was in their division, and kind of not having the respect for Mike McDonald and the roster that he's kind of put together, and the Seahawks coaching staff has been able to have prepared week in and week out. I would definitely think that, they definitely wanted to see Seattle more so than Los Angeles, only because of the respect in the game. But now they're going to have to meet the music.
In one way or another, it was going to be a Super Bowl rematch from not too distant past. I got one other number that I want to throw out there in this game that I definitely wanted to mention because it bodes well for the Patriots. In the last, this is the 18th time all time that there is a Super Bowl between a team that did not play and had that bye week versus a team that did have to play in the wild card game. The teams that didn't play the wild card game, aka the teams that had that first round bye against the teams that didn't have a bye, 4-13 straight up and 2-14-1 ATS all time. That is a crazy trend. 13 out of 17 times that it's happened, the team that has played wild card weekend and has had to win that extra game to win their way through. Again, the hottest team at the right time of year. 13 times out of 17, they've won the game. And they've covered 14 times in that stretch. From
somebody that does like the Seattle side, that does make me a little bit nervous because we are talking about their 2 games to get to this point were against division foes. They were pretty familiar with those teams, right? Knew the exact game plan they wanted. And the Patriots, 3 completely different teams to get to this point. So, that makes me a little bit nervous on that side.
I do think another thing that Alex, you had mentioned it earlier, but the Patriots coaching staff having the familiarity, not just Mike Vrabel as a player and Josh McDaniels as a coach and coordinator there, but Thomas Brown being their passing game coordinator. The Patriots coaching staff knows how to navigate this media circus that leads up to Super Bowl Sunday. The Seattle Seahawks coaching staff doesn't really have that familiarity. They do have some players on the roster that have been through the circus, but the players can only do so much in preparing the entire team. So I would caution And I do think the Patriots are live in this. We are going to have a great Super Bowl. But I did want to mention, as you know, guys, I love bringing in the history into it. So all time, Seattle leads the the matchup 11-9. Seattle has won 3 straight since losing that Super Bowl in 2015, including twice in the building in New England. Matt, you had mentioned that these are 2 of the hottest teams in the National Football League. Obviously, they are on a win streak. The Patriots have won 6 straight, which is as many games as the Tennessee Titans have won since firing Mike Vrabel. And the Seahawks have won 9 straight games. Looking at the Patriots first, they've scored 162 points in that 6-game win streak, which is 27 points per game, and they've allowed 70 points, which is 11.7 points per game. Looking at the Seahawks, they have scored 261 points on their 9-game win streak, which is 29 points per game, and they've allowed 132 points, which is 14.7. 64 of that 132, though, was to that Los Angeles Rams offense.
Wow.
And they've allowed just 68 to the other 7 teams that they faced, which included playoff teams, the Carolina Panthers and the San Francisco 49ers. The Seahawks also have set an NFL record for most 12-plus team wins, or most teams beaten that ended the year with at least 12 wins in a season. They have beat 6 such opponents so far this season. This would be their 7th. There are 4 other teams, including 2 Patriots teams, that have beaten 5 other teams with 12-plus wins. Also looking at just some fun things in this Super Bowl. We'll be looking at the coaches here specifically. It is the 4th Super Bowl meeting all time between coaches that are in their first or second year on the job. This is the first time that the coaches are not in the same year on the job. So Super Bowl 36, Bill Belichick was his second year in New England versus Mike Martz, his second year in St. Louis. Was won by the Patriots there, the AFC team. Super Bowl 37, the very next year, John Gruden was in his first year in Tampa Bay, and Bill Callahan was in his first year in Oakland. That was won by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so the NFC team there. Super Bowl 43, Mike Tomlin, the second year in Pittsburgh versus Ken Whisenhunt, his second year in Arizona, and that was won by the Steelers, the AFC team there. Looking at both coaches, funny enough, it is the 3rd time that both coaches are named Mike in the Super Bowl.
I saw this.
1932, 1932. Super Bowl 32. Super Bowl 32, Mike Shanahan, the Denver Broncos head coach, versus Mike Holmgren, the Green Bay Packers head coach. The Broncos won outright as an 11-point underdog in that one. The AFC team went in there. Super Bowl 45, Mike Tomlin, another Mike Tomlin mentioned there, versus Mike McCarthy, the guy that just replaced him.
Wow.
Won by the Green Bay Packers there, the NFC team, as the 3-point favorite. So we have Super Bowl 60, Mike Vrabel versus Mike McDonald. Just the 3rd time that both coaches would be named Mike here. And then one that kind of favors the Seahawks here and kind of how strong their defense is. There have been 5 teams, including the 2025 Seahawks, to be the best defense in fewest yards allowed per rush and fewest net yards allowed per pass attempt. The 2000 Ravens ended up winning the Super Bowl. The 2008 Steelers ended up winning the Super Bowl. The 2010 Steelers lost the Super Bowl. The 2015 Broncos won the Super Bowl, and this year's 2025 Seattle Seahawks.
It's that note about the coaches and the first names. I saw it's the only times that there has been Super Bowls where the coaches have the same first name. It just happens to have been Mike every time. There hasn't been a John versus John or a Bill versus Bill or God forbid a Ryan versus a Ryan. I think that is funny. And then just with all the Mikes you mentioned otherwise, there's a lot of Mikes. So if you want to get to not just to a head coaching job, to the Super Bowl, name your kid Mike. Also, I'm laughing. Yeah. Drew Dog says, I'm taking Mike's team. Also, I'm laughing at Dean Hilt saying, as a Cardinal fan, I feel so sorry for Matt and his lowly Patriots. It was a rough couple of years. Those Cam Newton days, God, glad those are over.
4.5 is the number. We'll keep you updated where that moves. If it does move anymore, I am very intrigued. I did see Circa took a big bet on the money line for the Patriots to win outright, but they didn't move the money line that much. They are one of the books that opened at 5, though, as well as the South Point. So I am curious, too, with the liability, right? So they might have been asking for that big bet on the money line and even the spread there at 5. One little note, Ryan, talking about the coaches. The Seattle Seahawks have got a few guys that at least have experience and fathers that have experience, including Clint Kubiak, whose father did win a Super Bowl for Denver. There's also, they brought in their run game coordinator, senior advisor, Rick Dennison. 17 seasons in Denver, resulting in 3 Super Bowl titles, 8 playoff appearances, 4 AFC West titles, 8 seasons of 10-plus wins. So they did kind of prep for this. They have some guys. And how come nobody told me that Jim Harbaugh's son was the special teams coordinator? Took me long enough to figure that out. We're talking about Seattle and how good their special teams is. Well, it is Jay Harbaugh. So maybe he doesn't necessarily have the experience, but can get some help from dad and uncle.
He's got some people he can lean on at least. Yeah.
He's got some people, right?
He can make a phone call.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. We'll keep you guys updated here on Sports by the Book. We appreciate you watching and hanging with us for the next couple weeks, prepping for this Super Bowl 60. Let's go ahead and take a quick break. When we get back, let's dive into college basketball and our plays on the ice. 10 hockey games today and Thursday. So we'll be looking at best bets there when we get back on Sports by the Book.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south of the border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
Heading to Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium? Skip the traffic and the sky-high room rates of the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement.
Ready to ramp up your excitement for playoff football? Join our hosts as they break down the matchups, key angles, and futures markets in the final episodes of Football Frenzy.
Seattle Seahawks get it done.
You look at these two teams and you say, wow, they did really well against quality opponents.
Brock Purdy to throw an interception tied up with the Seahawks in this game. I think that's a little bit of a correlation.
I would have given a huge ups to the Rams defensively. Not anymore.
Don't miss your chance to cash tickets and root for your favorite team. Stream Football Frenzy every Friday at noon Pacific.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for watching. This is Sports by the Book, live from the South Point Hotel and Casino. I did forget to mention the big game parties here at the South Point. If you are planning ahead, 12 days away, Sunday, February 8th, you want to figure out where you are going, this is the spot. The best drink and food deals you have around the city. You don't have to pay to get in. You don't have to pay for parking. So there are some of the spots located around the property. And if you get here early enough, you can get a seat in the sports book.
Word of advice, yeah, get here early. Those seats fill up. It's a great atmosphere. It's going to be jam-packed. I think the value brings people here, and just the atmosphere also gets people in the doors here at South Point. Those big game parties, the March Madness parties are so fun. I'm looking forward to it, especially for March Madness once there's like the multiple rooms. Those are so much fun.
Yeah, and I watched Super Bowl here 2 years ago, and you're right. The atmosphere was fantastic. There was not an empty seat, though. There was no empty seat. So get here early. And I think I got my booth at like 4 a.m.
Oh my God! I'm gonna have to see. I'm going to be wearing a Patriots jersey or a shirt or something. You know, my favorite Patriots shirt. That's gonna be tough. I like talking smack as a Patriots fan. I also know my limitations as a mixed martial artist. So I got to be careful about where I watch these games and whom I speak with so eloquently during the games.
I would like to see you and Cofield together because his hate for the Patriots, your love for the Patriots, it would be awesome watching that
I'll just
game.
bring up the Jets and he'll be in a bad mood.
Well, I don't know. It depends on how the Patriots are doing.
That's fair. Very fair.
Matt, you said there was some good comments in there.
Yeah, super live today.
What do we got?
We got Joey B all over it. He wants a top 5 list of best and worst road trips to make in the Mountain West. I'll give you that eventually. It changes football versus basketball. So I'll give you that list eventually. He said he's so old that he remembers my dad is the voice of the Mountain West Network. He's really old. I'm just kidding. Attila's all over it. Dean Hilt also wants to get 4-1 on Seattle -10. I guess at BetMGM Seattle as an alternate line at -10, which JR's talking about as well as 2-1. They want to get 4-1. I don't think you're getting that line, especially with that one yet. Joey B also says that I'm dressed like I'm in an episode of Yellowstone or in Laramie. It's not that cold in Las Vegas today. It's a little chilly, but I got a busy day. I dress like an accountant. I got the glasses. If anyone needs their taxes done. Jimmy Football says the mics are live. Careful, people, talking about our Mike versus Mike Super Bowl matchup. And yeah, I'll always love our commenters. Robert L, J Main. Also, thanks for checking in, guys. Really, really busy on the chat today. Try to get that #1 crown. I like that there's like a competitive nature to the to the comments section. I'm all about it.
Brian, will you give us our poll question and whether or not it did end already? Because if not, I'd love to hear from everybody. That was a great question. I actually like 2 out of the 4 on there, but it was college basketball, and that'll get us ready. And then we'll go right to whiteboards because we got 7 minutes left. A little bit over. We can go a little bit over, but it's time for our whiteboard plays too. So let's start off with the poll, though.
Yeah, so our poll is still active. It is, again, college basketball plays. So keeping the rankings up. Which top 25 team are you laying the points with in college basketball? We've got number 12, Purdue, on the road at Indiana, laying 5. We've got the number 15, Arkansas Razorbacks, at Oklahoma, laying 2.5. We've got the number 17, Virginia Cavaliers, at Notre Dame, laying 9.5. And then the Vanderbilt Commodores at home, laying 6.5 against Kentucky.
Let's get to our best bets for this Tuesday. Matt, will you kick it off?
It's not a bet of mine, but I did vote in the poll. I did take Vandy laying the points over Kentucky, not your dad's Kentucky team, not the fighting Calipari's like they used to be. But I got 3 college plays, 2 sides, and a total. We're going to start off in the ACC, and this is one that I think, are on different sides on. Notre Dame hosting Virginia. I got Notre Dame catching 10.5. This was a number that was available last night when I took a look. Notre Dame, a hot start in the non-con, 9-3 at the beginning of the year, but just 2-6 since. I think that this is kind of a get-right game at home, partially because of the trend going on recently between these two teams. In the last 2.5 years, the home team has won 5 of the last 6 between Virginia and Notre Dame, so there are those home court advantages. I've also got a lean on this game. The total at, 141.5 when I looked earlier. About 141.5 right now. 12 of the last 13 between these two teams have gone under 137, and it's not that same Virginia really slow them down game under Tony Bennett, which that 13 games is kind of considered into. But I think this one's slow. I don't think Notre Dame gets blown out. I think Virginia wins, but it's a tight one on the road in South Bend. So I'm on the Fighting Irish catching 10. If you can get it at 10.5, even better. I got a team laying 8 as well. With the Dayton Flyers. I may as well show you the whole picks. Dayton laying 8 at home against the Rams of Rhode Island. Dayton has a great home court advantage. Love going to games there. We've done 2 there for UNLV. And they win. They've won 13 of the last 14 at home, have the Flyers. This is also a fade of the Rams. Rhode Island has lost 9 of their last 12 on the road overall. They also, in their last 12 games total, are 3-9 ATS. And in the last 10 specifically against Dayton, regardless of venue, Rhode Island is 2-8 ATS. I'm going with the Flyers. I'll lay 8 points at home. I think this one gets you there, especially if there's some free throws late, if Rhode Island is anywhere close. And then lastly, Marquette Creighton under. This one at the Fiserv Forum up in Milwaukee. South Point's got the highest total on the market at 156 if you like under in this game. Each of Marquette's last 7 home games against Creighton have gone under 150. So this one's at 156. So you get that extra 6-point cushion there. And then 11 of Creighton's last 12 road games against conference opponents in the Big East have gone under 155. So you got 2 really convincing trends that are under 150 and 155 in that game. I'm going to bet the trend Marquette Creighton under $1.56.
Very good. I was on leaning the other side there with Virginia, but I do not like 10.5. So I'm going to wait for, I don't know if I'm going to get an in-game. I don't know if Notre Dame's going to be
really diligent.
Yeah. I wanted under 10. I was going to lay 9.5 with Virginia. My thought I like this Virginia team. I do think they are pretty good, and Notre Dame has struggled in conference play, but I thought it was a really good bounce back spot coming off that loss against North Carolina for Virginia. So I didn't put it on the board, though. I'm not laying double digits. I was looking at it when it was 9. So pass for me. I am going to Tom Izzo's team, though, Michigan State and Rutgers. I do like the under in this one. Lean a little bit to the Spartans anyways, but instead of, laying another price here, I just think that their defense is going to shut down Rutgers here. So under 136.5. And looking at their road games, they held Oregon to 52. They held Washington to 63. They lost on the road to Nebraska. But, I mean, really, this team they're coming off a game against Maryland where they held them to 48. Their defense, they're number 1 in the country. So I'm going with the under there instead of laying that price. Next up on my sheet, I have it right here. Arkansas. Speaking of Calipari, I like this revenge spot.
This is one I stayed away from because I was looking at a reason to bet Oklahoma.
Well, and I think because Oklahoma beat them in Arkansas last year, and it is Calipari's second year, much better team, pretty hot team. They're playing really good basketball right now. So I think he'll remember this one and take advantage. I think they can cover 2.5 there. 3 hockey. I like under for Nashville and Boston at 6.5. If it's 6, I would stay away, but at 6.5, I think that half a goal there makes a difference. Jeremy Swayman did not play in yesterday's loss for Boston, so it is a back-to-back, but they saved him for this one. I think that's just way too high. I also do like Boston. I think that's a pretty cheap price there, minus 110 for them to get the win in regulation. And then Chicago, Minnesota. I'm going under 6 here. 2 of my favorite goalies to bet unders with Spencer Knight and Gustafson there for Minnesota. So I'll take the under 6 for that one.
A question on the Boston game. Typically when teams have a back-to-back, you see it the other order, right? You'll see the number 1 goalie go the first game, and the backup typically gets the second. So that's kind of not what you're used to seeing. They're really trying to win the second leg right tonight.
I think that is the whole thing there. I do think they strategically kind of save their number 1 for the tougher matchup. The Rangers weren't playing good at home. You could say they were the tougher matchup, but it kind of depends. This year's so crazy, Matt, because of the Olympic break. Yeah, so we have seen so many back-to-backs, and they're kind of just...
It does change things.
Yeah, doing whatever.
When is the Olympic break, by the way? When does it start?
February.
The 5th is the last game.
I was going to say early February, first week. All right, Ryan, on the ice, what do you got for us?
I got 6 hockey plays today, and J-Main, hopefully the Sharks do get it done because I've got them on the puck line in Vancouver there. So we'll start up top. We got the Buffalo Sabres on the road in Toronto taking on the Maple Leafs. I've got the Sabres on the money line laying a minus 110 there. The Canadians, minus 105, hosting the Vegas Golden Knights. So if the Knights win, you're welcome. But if Montreal wins, you're welcome. Florida,
you're welcome regardless.
minus 1.5, getting a plus 175 price there. Against hosting the Utah Mammoth. Going with the Detroit Red Wings money line, minus 125, hosting the Kings there. Boston on the second of a back-to-back, taking the money line there. Hopefully they get right and don't lose 2 straight. But they're playing the Predators, which I don't think it should be a minus 110 price. But they are also 4-2 this season on the second of a back-to-back, so it hasn't been a detriment to them this season. And then, the San Jose Sharks laying a puck and a half, risking it for the biscuit. Plus 190 there in Vancouver against the Canucks. And now we will get to Ticker Trivia, presented by City Light Shine, available at Lee's Discount Liquor, Total Wine, and here at the South Point Hotel and Casino. It was a basketball question for you guys today, a college basketball question for you guys today, because on this date in sports history, January 27th, 1973, the UCLA Bruins men's basketball team won their 61st consecutive game establishing a new NCAA record. Continuing their winning ways, how many consecutive games did the Bruins ultimately win on this historic streak in a record that still stands today for men's college basketball?
Our chat is all over this one, by the way, Ryan.
Yes, they are. Led by Hall of Fame coach John Wooden, the Bruins would ultimately win 88 consecutive games from January 30th, 1971 to January 19th, 1974, a span that included 3 NCAA tournament titles, part of an overall streak of 7 consecutive NCAA tournament wins. To date, the team that has come closest to that 88-game win streak are the UNLV Runnin' Rebels, winning 45 consecutive games in 1990 and 1991. JR did spot that correct answer. We did have a confirmation, I believe, from Dean Held in the chat.
It was Dean and JR going back and forth.
Yeah. And then, and Jimmy Football also letting us know. So, yeah, a bunch of people spot on with that trivia. But again, Ticker Trivia presented by City Light Shine. The answer is 88 consecutive wins by the UCLA Bruins.
Wow. Never going to happen again. Although,
not in this NIL.
Was it Manny Diaz that preseason this year said that no team would ever go 16-0 in college football?
No, it was Sarkisian.
It was Sark.
Yep.
Yeah, that didn't take long.
No.
If you're going to be proven wrong, at least have it be quick. So I guess that's a positive on his end.
Yes. Couple notes there. I just want to say, Ryan, I do like that one. You fading Vancouver because you were kind of waiting for them to get that win, and they did against the Capitals, and now you were going up against them again. Somebody asked about the Alabama game. I think the side is just right there at 10.5, maybe lean to Alabama. So I would try and get an in-game under lay 5 or 6 if Missouri goes up. Kind of strength on strength. Missouri wants to really slow it down, so it's a lean to the under, but I'm not very comfortable betting Alabama games under. What about
No.
you?
I was literally going to say my only bet on any Alabama game blindly is just over with the way that Nate Oates and company go, especially having seen them in person this year. The Players Era tournament, they like to score, they like to run. They made the Rebels look slow, and there's not a lot of teams that have been able to do that this year.
Yeah, live and die by the 3 as well, but Missouri wants to really grind it out and slow you down and force you into the shot clock, but it's going to be tough.
I think the better team typically finds a way to get to the tempo they want. The better team on paper, in my experience, more often than not, especially in conference games, finds a way to get it to their pace. So I think Alabama's pace is a lot stronger than Mizzou's. I don't know about 10. I don't know if they win that game by double digits. I think it'll be fast. If they're somewhat efficient from the field, they should cover that.
Yeah.
But again, the better team typically finds a way to get it to their pace in conference play.
Missouri has surprised me, though. They are better than I thought. Coming off an overtime win against Oklahoma Sooners. But all right, you got all of our best bets for tonight. Put it out in the universe. Let's hit some cash some tickets. Hit some winners. Ryan, one more thing.
Yeah, we do have our polls best bet consider the 4 that we did give you guys in college basketball today. So keeping up those ranks, which top 25 team are you laying the points with in college basketball today? Number 12, Purdue, laying the 5 at Indiana. Number 15, Arkansas, laying 2.5 at Oklahoma. Virginia, number 17, laying 9.5 at Notre Dame. Or number 18, Vanderbilt, laying 6.5 at Kentucky versus Kentucky. And our chat is fading you, Matt. Going with the Cavaliers laying that 9.5 against Notre Dame in Notre Dame. We also had Joey B giving you a 3 out of 5 on the cursive on your whiteboard.
It's the Y. I'll tell you what. Don't ask questions about my handwriting.
That's the only cursive letter on your
I
whiteboard.
learned to not ask questions a long time ago. I'll take what I can get.
Just one letter.
Just the one letter.
It's okay.
You take what you can get when it comes to my handwriting.
Actually, you did lift the pen, so
there you go. Hey, and I even said that I'm trying. That was an attempt to be neat. I'm a doctor in handwriting only.
Hey, he gave a lot of winners last Thursday on the whiteboard, so we don't want to be too picky.
Also,
we'll take the winners over the nice handwriting.
I've always wanted to say this, and I never had the opportunity. Chat, am I cooked? I am, Unc. Here we go.
I am. One more thing is look out. We'll cut this up, so we'll have our Super Bowl preview, our first one here with Matt on the YouTube page, and then after this show, we are recording a Super Bowl preview with CBS Sports, and from the covers, Todd Furman will be joining us, so you want to check that out as well. Been doing this for a long time.
He's one of
this
the best.
handicap and stuff. So really excited to talk with him and what he's looking for in regards to props and stuff for the Super Bowl. So look out for that one. All right, team, thank you. Good job, everybody. Appreciate everybody who gets us on air and gets us live. And Jerry, Sean, Vince, and Drew Dog. For Matt and Ryan, I'm Alex White. This is Sports by the Book. We'll see you again tomorrow. Don't be late, 10 a.m. here at the South Point Studio.